Peguero hearing?
Yeah, Peguero, yes.
All right. Well,
There we are. They're in the breakout room. So
all right. Let's start off with the Peguero, Maria.
Hello?
All right. Well, just a minute. All right, this is call number 2021-83841 in the interest of Emberlyn and Raiden Peguero. All parties and witnesses, please raise your right hands to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I do.
All right, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the children.
My name is Brooke Peguero, and I'm their mother.
All right, sir, your name and your relationship to the children.
My name's Cody Peguero, and I'm their father.
All right, and representing this Attorney General, State of Texas.
Andrea Perard.
Ms. Perard, we have an original petition and a suit affecting parent-child relationship. We're having a hearing, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Do you have any stipulations?
We do, Your Honor.
All right, let's read them into the record.
Yes, Your Honor. The parties are in agreement that for two children, that court-ordered child support will be $560 per month, beginning August 1st of 2022. The children will maintain on government medical assistance for health insurance. There'll be a cash medical support obligation of $169 beginning August 1st of 2022. There will be a retroactive child support judgment as of today, July 13th, 2022, in the amount of $2,240 to be paid back at a rate of $50 per month beginning August 1st of 2022. That any pickup and drop off for the children will be at a Chuck E. Cheese, I believe located on Fairmont, if I'm correct. And that concludes the agreements, Your Honor. The issues before the court is joint versus sole conservatorship and possession and access, and possibly the non-disclosure finding.
All right, let's proceed. Is it so far as these your agreements, Mr. Peguero
Correct, yes, sir.
and Ms. Peguero?
Yes, sir.
All right, so the issues then is going to be whether there's joint or sole managing conservatorship, what the possession and access will be, and whether there is a non-disclosure or not. So let's proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state would call Miss Brooke Peguero. Ma'am, you and Mr. Peguero are currently married, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And there are two children that were born of the marriage, and they were born after you were married, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And those children are how old? 5 and 7, is that right?
No, 3 and 6.
3 and 6, okay. And you and Mr. Peguero separated in November of 2021, is that right?
Ma'am.
Okay. And so prior to that, the four of you were all living together as a family unit in the same household, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, since your separation, part of the reason that y'all separated, is it correct that there was a family violence incident between you and Mr. Peguero, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what was that incident? Can you explain that to the court?
Okay. That morning, I was getting my daughter ready for school, and something triggered Cody, Mr. Peguero, and he just lost his temper and kept coming at me very aggressively. I kept asking him to leave me alone, let me get Emberlyn ready off to school. he just could not do that. He ran at me a few times. He would physically hold me, like, here or there, you're not going anywhere. I got strangled. And this was all in front of both of my children.
And prior to that incident, did you have any other violence incidents between you and him?
There had been several, but they were never in front of my kids, and I never really talked about them.
Did you file a police report in regards to that incident?
On the one morning that was really bad, that I was strangled, the police came, and I was in shock. I'm not sure. I don't remember what exactly they even said, how it all went, but I do know that there was a police report made that day.
Do you know if there's been any criminal charges filed against Mr. Picaro?
I don't think there was.
And do you have any protective order between you and Mr. Picaro?
No, ma'am.
So because of that incident, you are asking for a non-disclosure finding in this case where your address and information is kept out of this court order. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Does he know where you live currently?
He might.
If he does know, but you were to move, would you want him to know your any future addresses?
I would rather him not.
Okay. Now, in regards, and also because of that incident, you're asking to be named sole managing conservator with you designating the residence. Is that correct of the children, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now, as for the possession and access, Mr. Picaro has not seen the children in the last 8 months or so. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And because of that, you are asking for there to be a phase-in visitation period, starting supervised at the Chuck E. Cheese, and that would be supervised by your mother. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And that each phase that's been described, 4 different phases, those be 5 periods each. Is that what you are requesting?
Yes.
And then once each of those 4 phases of 5 periods each are completed, then you would enter into a standard possession order with Mr. Picaro. Is that right?
Yes, and that is if everything goes according, like how it's supposed to, correct?
If he completes those, then he moves
Yeah,
to
okay,
the
yes,
next.
if he completes them. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. I pass this witness at this time, Your Honor.
Mr. Peguero, do you have any questions of Ms. Peguero?
Nope.
Okay. Ms. Berard?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would call Mr. Picaro.
Okay.
Sir, you are asking to be named joint managing conservator in this case. Is that correct?
Correct. And it was already agreed upon.
Okay, that was an agreement that you and Ms. Picaro had between yourselves previously?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now you heard her indicate that there was a family violence issue between you and her. Did you hear that testimony?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And would you agree with her review of the facts of that?
Yes and no, because it's not exactly how it went down.
Did you physically assault Miss Picaro at your home?
I'm assuming the answer would be yes, but she also assaulted me, and I have pictures, and there are pictures in the police report as well.
Okay, so you alleging that there was mutual combat between the two of you?
Correct, yes, ma'am, and that is why the DA refused charges.
Okay, so the police did come take a report, but there, as far as you know, there's no criminal charges pending against you or her as any perpetrators, correct?
Correct, yes, ma'am.
And is there any protective order in place against you?
Not that I'm aware of, no, ma'am.
And do you have any objection to having her address kept out of this court order and y'all have a location to pick up the children where you don't know their address?
No, I mean, I would like to know where my daughter is attending school, if I would like to go eat lunch with her or something like that. It's part of join, isn't it?
In either rights and duties, you're entitled to access to school information.
Well, yeah, no, I don't care. Said no.
So you're
So is
fine
that a
with her address being
So is
kept out?
that a stipulation then? In other words, there will be a non-disclosure?
I believe so, Your Honor, yes.
All right.
Now, in regards, and so are you saying that this family violence incident was just a misunderstanding, a one-off, and based on that, you feel like you should be joint managing conservator with Ms. Picaro?
No, it's the fact of how it built up, because it wasn't just her trying to get our daughter ready for school. It was the fact that she had been gone and running around. Like, I'm not trying to like over exaggerate or anything, but she was basically gone from the house, and she showed up at the house one morning and decided that day to try and get our daughter ready for school, while I was in the process of trying to get our daughter ready for school, and it was a disagreement as to why are you even at the house.
Okay.
I'm sorry, a disagreement as to who is even at the house.
Her, because she had already left, and I was basically taking care of the kids and the house and everything.
Okay, can you
That's
tell me
why
for what period of time did she leave?
I can't remember exact dates, but I believe she was gone for like a little over a month, and that's why that day, whenever the police came, they made her leave, is because she wasn't residing at that house.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, and you agree that you haven't seen the children for the last 8 months or so, but is that on because you have not wanted to see them?
No, yeah, I have not seen them. However, I have reached out and I have tried to, I sent text messages almost daily until she changed her phone number concerning my kids. And I have reached out to her via email concerning my kids, and I have not received a single response.
So in order to try and come to an agreement, you had agreed to a phase-in periods of possession, but you're
Correct.
I'm sorry?
I said correct. Yes, ma'am.
But instead of the 5 periods that Miss Picaro is asking for, you're asking for it just to be 2 of each phase. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you have no objection for her mother to be the one supervising at the Chuck E. Cheese for the first period of possession, correct?
Oh, no, that's fine.
Okay. I pass this witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Pagano, do you have any questions of Mr. Pagano?
No, sir, I do not.
All right. Ms. Perard?
Nothing further, state rest, Your Honor.
Anything further, Ms. Pagano, that you wish to say?
I don't believe so.
All right. Anything further, Mr. Pagano, that you wish to say?
No, just looking forward to seeing my kids, really.
All right. So there was a month where you were actually taking care of these children by yourself?
Correct. Yes, sir. She had left, and I don't know where she was. I mean, I wasn't really, we were, I guess, separating through that phase. So there was like hardly any communication other than, you know, excuse my language, screw you, this, that, blah, 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 you know, this, that, and that. But she was not staying at the house. No, I was getting my daughter to and from school, taking care of our daughter and our son, and trying to figure out financials. She had disappeared, basically.
All
And
right.
that was actually, I believe, from like mid to late October. No, I'm pretty sure it was like late October, like around the 20th to right around Thanksgiving, whenever she finally convinced me that we were going to do 50-50, and then she took them.
All right, the court finds the best interest of these children to have to appoint the mother and the father joint managing servitors, fathers to have modified possession and access with 3 phases each, supervised by the maternal grandmother. All other stipulations are approved. Anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. May we be excused?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If the parties, you'll be put in a breakout room and they will go over draft the court order.
Thank you.
Hello.
All right, this is card number 2020-36518 in the interest of Leilani Holmes. All parties and witnesses, please raise your right hand to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, ma'am, what are you doing? You're walking around. What?
I'm going to my car so that I can sit in it.
All right, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
Laureano Holmes, and I am her mother, the custodial parent.
All right, and representing the state.
Andrea Perard.
Court will note that the non-custodial parent is Desmond Lamont Eaton. Mr. Eaton was served under Rule 106 on April 12th, 2022 at 3:31 p.m. at 4400 West Airport Boulevard, Apartment 2312 in Houston, Harris County, Texas. And he has not appeared to file an answer. Is that correct, Ms. Berard?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Let's proceed by default.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state would call Ms. Holmes. Ma'am, in regard to the paternity of the child, Leilani, is it your testimony that the only person that could now possibly be the father of Leilani is Mr. Eaton?
Correct.
That there was another possible father, but we did DNA testing on that father and it was excluded. Therefore, it justifies and clarifies that this is the only person that could be the father, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you were asking to keep the child's last name as Holmes, is that right?
Yes.
Now, in regards to conservatorship, you're asking to be named sole managing conservator in this case because you and Mr. Eaton have had little to none to almost zero contact with each other. Is that right?
Correct.
And that essentially you and Mr. Eaton were not in a relationship, do not have significant knowledge of each other, and for the most part, probably will not have much interaction at all with each other now or in the future. And he's indicated possibly no desire to know you or the child, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So while there has not been any allegations of family violence, it just at this phase does not, wouldn't be prudent for the child for you to have to try and have communication with Mr. Eaton. Is that right?
Correct.
Now, as for possession and access, that you're asking that should he choose to exercise possession, that begin in the phase-in periods of 10 periods each, with any pickup and drop off to occur at the target on the Northwest Freeway. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're also asking for your address and information to be kept out of this court order, again, because you have little contact and knowledge of this person and what he could or be willing to do, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, as for his income, we have no wage information for him. Therefore, we're using the minimum wage presumption in calculating support. And we've been able to determine that he has 2 additional children in the household with him. How is this child covered by insurance?
Medicaid.
I'm going to order you to maintain that government medical assistance, and we'll be requesting that Mr. Eaton reimburse the state at $38 beginning August 1st, 2022. Is that your understanding and agreement?
So if he doesn't pay it, will she no longer?
No, as long as it's in an order and you keep it, even if he doesn't pay it, it's fine. Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you now.
Okay. So do you have any objection to the $38 per month?
Well, no, I didn't hear your response to her not.
If he does not pay it, it does not affect you.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any objection to that amount?
No, I do not.
So giving him credit for the cost of that health insurance and his 2 additional children, your child support will be set at $177 beginning August 1st of 2022. Is that your understanding and agreement?
Yes.
And you are asking for retroactive support from the date of birth until today in the amount of $6,195 to be paid back at a rate of $85 beginning August 1st of 2022. Is that your understanding and agreement?
Yes.
And Mr. Eaton has not provided any financial support to you for the child since her birth. Is that correct?
Correct.
That concludes the order, Your Honor. I pass my witness.
All right, the court will approve the order submitted. Thank you.